Baba.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creator Notes podcast, the podcast where we get up and close with your favorite creators and all thing creating. Today, we're joined by someone I met at the pub once. I don't really, it's kind of a blurry time, but word is that he's pretty good at Simpsons Hit and Run. Welcome, LiquidWiFi.
Hello. Yes, we did meet at the pub. I don't remember that night very well, but
it's all a bit fuzzy, but it was a good time from what I was told.
Oh yes, definitely was.
Yes, it's
galore.
Yeah, it was weird. It was such like just to paint a picture, and I say paint a picture because it's like I don't remember it clearly enough, but apparently I was just ranting about how shit Simpsons Hit Run is.
Yes, I remember that. I do remember that.
But I just finished. I'd played it for it was like a charity milestone, and then people were like, "Oh, I love this game." There's like that nostalgia-ness where people go, "I remember this game being excellent all the time," and then when they actually play it, it's like, "Fuck, this game's hard."
Look, a lot of people struggle to get the controls down because the game is just so weird.
Yeah,
it feels wrong to play initially.
Yeah, particularly like versus modern controls and like
yeah.
This is a topic that's come up a lot lately, is like that nostalgia where you go, I remember that game being really fun. And then you go back and you play it and you're like, the controls are not friendly. They're not user friendly. A greatest example is they re-released Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. And I remember having so much fun playing them as a kid. Can't play them as an adult. The camera controls alone fight you.
It seems the camera controls in old games are terrible. So.
Yes. So before we get too far away from it, because we're already off into a tangent, you speed run Simpsons Hit and Run. That's the joke. Is that you're very good at it, from what I'm told. Although, you don't currently have any records, or you?
No. I used to have all records of the main
all
categories. all records. But recently, a new player's come along. Homer of Steel has taken the game basically completely over. So
really,
not currently holding any records, but maybe again in the future.
So I have two questions about this, because this is just, I love speedrunning so much. First of all, how long did it take you to get like those records the first time?
Okay, so when I initially started the game in 2016 or 2015, actually, there was not really that active of a scene. There was maybe 5-6 players who played sometimes. So I came in, and because I was very young and I had nothing else to do with my life, I speedrun nonstop and eventually got my first record at 142, I think it was.
Okay.
And that took me about, I thought I'd say like 4 months or something.
Wow.
So it was a very quick process.
That's very quick, yeah.
Yeah. The game was definitely not optimized back then, though.
Yeah, okay. So you say, what, 142? What is it now?
It's a 117.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that sort of tells a story alone. And obviously, I mean, I keep on thinking questions, but like, yeah, you've played other games, but like, is like Hit and Run like that game? Like you like, I kind of have to try and take on the title again, or?
Well, so it's kind of, I've had a bit of a weird story because like I initially started speedrunning with Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay.
I got partnered on Twitch with Kingdom Hearts 2 way back in 2015. So It's a very weird jump from one to the other. So I've never really been like a one game person. I was with Hit and Run for quite a while, but I've always jumped between a couple of different titles. Like at the moment I'm doing San Andreas. So it's just sort of been all over the place, but Hit and Run is the thing I'm mostly known for. And I don't know if I, like, maybe I'll take on the record, maybe I won't. I'm kind of just indecisive on that at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of, I suppose it's one of those things where, like, if the community demands it, you'll kind of have to answer the call.
We'll see.
He's not committing to anything.
I'm not committing to anything.
Yeah, no, it's wild. Is there a reason why you picked Simpsons Hit and Run?
So I've I initially started streaming and speedrunning because I was just interested in the whole thing.
Yeah.
But as I did it more and more, I was more interested in the growth aspect of it, and I saw a really good opportunity with Hit and Run that no one was running it, but particularly on YouTube, it does really well.
Right.
Like speedruns of the game tend to get a lot of views just to complete random. So I chose Hit and Run, and it was like a game that was void of any competition whatsoever.
Right. So it was a big brain play from the start. It's you're like, this is a business choice.
Somewhat, yes. I don't know if I realized it was a business choice at the time, but I definitely realize it now.
It was just smart the first time around. It's interesting to me still, because I know a lot of obviously content creators and stuff like that. The amount of people that still go, I feel like playing Simpsons Hit and Run. Then about a month later, you see them streaming it, and you're like, yeah. And then like they'll play it for maybe once or twice, and then they're out again. And I'm like, it's so wild because you could tell when like a couple of streamers have got it, and then you can tell when you're playing it because the category just sort of explodes.
It used to do that. Now it's full of Simpsons streaming, Spanish Simpsons streamers.
Yeah, it's wild.
So it's
really
weird.
When I sat down and said I'm going to start streaming, because I was like, I'm trying mainly because I was getting internet that could maybe handle streaming, and I'm like, I'm going to stream on YouTube. I'll keep everything to YouTube, keep it all very simple, whatever. And I'm like, I'll go watch some YouTube streams. And if anyone knows, like looking for live content on YouTube's a fucking pain in the ass.
It's so
always
bad.
has been, and I don't understand why they won't fix it. And I'm like, all right, well, I eventually found it, but all I could find was streams of people just streaming episodes of The Simpsons and Futurama and Family Guy. And they all had like 10,000 people watching or whatever. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to compete with that shit? So then I went to Twitch. That's purely the only reason. Because I can't compete with like the Wild West when, you know,
it's so bad.
So
they don't
bad.
do anything about it.
And then I remember we were like messing around on Twitch, and I think there was like a category that's like called like movies and TV or something. And there's literally just people just streaming movies and TV. And I'm just like, come on, guys. It's people like that make new rules come up all the time because of shit like that.
I remember when Artifact was an issue. Oh, the Artifact rule that was just full of piracy.
Oh man, it's wild. And I suppose the other thing is, and we'll move off Simpsons in a second, but the thing that I do notice, particularly with this sort of stuff, is okay. So you become the Simpsons Hit and Run guy, so to speak. Then obviously there's been the remake that's been happening in, you know, not happening or happening, and like, I'm sure that everyone just like tags you and like sends you stuff about that like constantly.
Yes.
And it's, I know I've worked with like Fox and Disney and stuff like that, and like licensed properties are no joke with these people. So
I doubt a Hit and Run remake's ever going to happen. I'm just going to say it right out, because you have Vivendi who own Hit and Run, who do not exist anymore.
That's right.
Sorry, they might exist. I'm not sure. Radical, I think, is owned by Blizzard.
Radical Entertainment, I think so. Which is now owned by
Blizzard, which is owned by Microsoft or whatever.
Yeah.
Disney, who owned the Simpsons IP, just overarching, and EA, who run the games. So having all four of them work together.
Those four people don't talk to each other. That doesn't happen. No. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But it's so weird to me that I think, like, because I grew up playing Simpsons games all the time and like watching Simpsons and everything else, like Bart's Nightmare on the Super Nintendo and stuff like that. Fucking love those games. And then like it just felt like we had licensed games coming out, and then now we have nothing. So we literally, we just have people making fan-made remakes.
The last non-mobile Simpsons game was in 2008, which was the Simpsons game,
which I've played, and it's not bad, but it's not good either.
It's all right. It's all right. And then after that, you have Tapped Out, which has been a thing since 2012, and they've done nothing else. So
it just makes money from gullible people.
It's so profitable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's scary. That's what people are like. Oh, why are they making a mobile game? Just look at how much mobile games make. It's insane. Like it's like I think it's in like the top 20, like still, of like just how much it makes. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Just sheer dollars. Like, why would they ever stop? It's man, annoying because I'd like proper games, but that's fine if that's what they do it. All right, so let's park Simpsons to one side because I'm sure it'll come up again. But partnered in, would you say 2015?
2015.
Now, I think Twitch came out in like 20.
Early 2013.
Yeah, 2013. I think it was Justin TV and
Justin, and then in like January 2013, it got a games section, which was Twitch.
Yeah.
So it's like it had like Justin was everything, and then Twitch was games. So
yeah. That was back when I didn't have enough internet to watch Twitch.
I had the same issue, don't you?
Well, this is my question. My next question is, how did you like stream and back then? Because I know even OBS wasn't really around until what 2013, 14
existed in 20. So I started streaming in September of 2013. So OBS had like been pretty fresh back then. I think it was like in.
It
April,
literally just came out. It came out that year. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I got in a lucky time. Yeah, I started streaming. I had. I lived in the middle. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. So I did not have good internet. It was something like 5 down and 0.7 up.
Ooh.
So I had to stream on 500 bit rate at 360p, which got the job done. And then eventually I moved closer to Melbourne City, which allowed me to get better internet, which means I could stream better quality.
Yeah.
Got partnered in 2015 with 500 average viewers because that was the requirement at the time. Yeah, so in a very short period of time, I went from new streamer to actual like 500 viewer partner.
Is that purely from speedrunning Kingdom Hearts, or is just purely that community just showed up?
Yeah. So
wow.
That was another. I've gotten lucky a lot in my streaming. I came into Kingdom Hearts at a good time because there was only 2 people who were actively competing for top times. I came in and started speedrunning, got really good at the game, eventually got world record, which just gained me traction with the speedrun community as a whole. Then in 2015, I began running the Gold Crown category, which is like 100%, but not really 100%.
Okay.
Which is an 8-hour run, which naturally a lot of people will tune in for because people love longer runs.
And they stay there for 8 hours.
They stay there for 8 hours. This was back when if you hit 50 viewers, your stream would cut off because they would give you quality options and then come back online.
Oh my God. Like transcoding before transcoding.
Yep. That was a pain for speedrunners because we like to have our videos in one.
Oh, of course.
So we'd be in a run, it'd get cut off and come back on. It was just really annoying for a while.
Oh my God. So I think most people that, I suppose a lot of people that I've talked to, particularly on this show and stuff like that, I think the earliest is like, they're gamers for a long time, but streaming's kind of like 2018 onwards. I guess that was like the renaissance. And I think that's when they brought in like affiliate was like 2018. So
it would have been affiliate and bits, I think, would have been the 2 big things in that year.
Yeah, bits. I remember that. And everyone was like, what the fuck are these things? And then I didn't realize it's just to make you dissociate with spending money. So
pretty much.
Yeah, it's no secret. But yeah, so I think like a lot of people missed that early Twitch kind of period where I'm trying to think of like people like Australian partnered Twitch streamers and stuff like that go back to them that are still going. Like there's not many off the top of my head.
The only one that I can think of is another speedrunner, Worster. He does like Pokemon and stuff. He's the only person I know who is still actively streaming today. That was partnered back then.
Yeah, so because like when you look at Twitch numbers and stuff like that, I think 2018 was a bump. Like the viewership went right up, and then obviously COVID just exploded it to oblivion and beyond. And then I think it's pretty much stayed around the same since.
I think it's dropped a little bit. Like it's like the natural code. No, I won't say no more code because it's not correct.
But people going outside.
Yeah, people going back outside is just naturally having Twitch go slightly down.
Yeah, it's like I saw recently people were like, oh man, my numbers have gone down all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. Everyone's like, they went to school.
Yeah, back to work.
It's like people forget, I guess, about that kind of stuff. But it's like, I suppose the difference between, say, like a 2018 and like 2024 is there's a lot more streamers now, like, because streaming is so much easier.
Yes.
And also internet.
Yeah.
Finally.
Particularly in Australia. Oh, the internet issue was so bad here for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I streamed when I was streaming in 2018 on a regular thing, and I was using 4G. That was the best internet I can get. I was in Metro Melbourne too, and that was the best internet I could get. It's so fucked. I was so angry about it every day, begrudgingly firing up my 4G modem, and
I tried streaming 4G before, and it just drops so much. It's terrible.
I got the bee's knees. It was like a triple band router, and it fucking, so if one dropped out, the other two would pick up the slack sort of thing. That was all fine. The problem I found was the amount of data you use, particularly if you want to stream
so much. Yeah.
Like 10. If I'm like started with 1080, I'm like, fuck, I'm chewing my data. I can't do that. I had to drop my bit rate down. It was 720, everything else, but like it was enough to like just stream in general. It was just really annoying. And I remember, like, if you drew a map, there was my house, and then across the street they had NBN, but my side of the street didn't have NBN. And then I'm like,
NBN circle around your own property.
Then I'm like, fine. I was using 4G, and they're like, oh, 5G is coming. And then I checked the 5G map. That came to my back fence. So it was literally 5G to my back fence and NBN to the front door. But me, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I remember I complained about it, and then Telstra's like, we'll fix your line. It'll be a line thing. That's why you're not getting decent speeds. I'm like, no, I'm getting ADSL because that's all you fucking offer. And they're like, so then it was ADSL too, but then they broke it. So I had no internet for a month. And then they when they fixed it, they're like, the only port we can give you is ADSL. I'm like, but I had ADSL too before you broke it. Yeah, not anymore. And oh man, I was just so pissed off. And then like when I moved house, I left. I didn't care where I lived as long as I had the fastest fucking internet I could find.
Yeah. We moved house a couple of times, and anytime we like look on a domain or realestate.com, we look at the property, and we're like, okay, this is affordable. Check for NBN.
Yeah.
And like everything else comes after that.
Yeah, I went one step further. NBN, I wanted fiber to the place, and I wanted fiber through the building, and I got it. And I'm like, that is it. This is as fast as it gets in Australia. I have it now, and it's amazing to be like, hey guys, I need to like download a game. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I download it. It takes 10 minutes while streaming, while my partner's streaming, while watching Netflix in the background. It doesn't even stutter. Nothing. Where I remember, like, it used to be like, hey, I'm streaming. Don't watch Netflix. It's like,
don't make a phone call.
Don't make a phone call. Yeah. And so it's crazy, but that's also like I suppose the next step is like today we're like 720 is acceptable, but really you need to be like 1080 or yeah. I mean, they're screaming for more bit rate, or we'll go to like, YouTube can do massive amounts.
YouTube does like 12K, doesn't it?
It's something like insane. That. Like I streamed like that once just to see what it was like. I'm just like, let's see if we can do a little flex here. But then, like, I mean, if you haven't got a 12K monitor, what's the difference? Anyway, my point is that like when you started streaming, I think like 1080 was unheard of for a lot of people. It's like, oh wow, they must be a business or something, or brand to have 1080.
720p was the best you'd ever see.
Yeah.
But most, especially Australians, because the internet was really bad back then, would only get 360p. So like one of my mates had to stream at 420 bitrate because his internet was so bad. Like that was the literal digit that he could go up to without it dropping more frames.
Yeah, and I can't remember who I was talking. I was talking to someone, and they said they got partnered, but they had so shit internet they could only stream at some ridiculous, like 2,500 bitrate or something like that. But because it was so bad, they'd get major like artifacting whenever they'd like move. So they played like card games and stuff, so it wouldn't move that much. And then I just trick people into thinking it's a fine quality because nothing's moving.
It looks good.
Looks good until you move, and it's a solid 15 frames a second. It's nuts. But yeah, it's a different time. And I think a lot of people don't quite understand how it's changed.
It's so easy now, and especially like it transitioning to something more like Twitch. Talking more about Twitch is that like going from partner being required 500 viewers to now it's like 75. That is insane.
And people still complain about 75.
It's like 75 is 500 is way too hard. It was so difficult.
Yeah.
That was really an exclusive club. You'd get 500 viewers and you'd be treated with basically royalty within Twitch.
Were you treated like royalty? Like did they wine and dine you? What does Twitch do?
I had a partner representative directly to me. So it was definitely a different time. But 75 it's so good to see that 75 is like the standard, because it's a lot easier and it lets a lot of other people actually get that partner, and it makes it better overall, even if people still complain about it.
They do, yeah. And like I think like the most common thing I see is people are like, oh, I hit 75 and I've applied for partner, and then they're like, oh, well, no, you're not getting partner because you just hit 75. You got to be maintain 75, you know.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, it was bullshit. I hit 75. I didn't get it. It's like, well, no, that's not the point. And like I've got friends who hit 75 and like was 75 for like 3-4 months, got partner, and like they've never been that high again. But like that's just that's their content. They're comfortable doing it. That's fine. And I suppose getting into more like the business side of things, like the difference between being an affiliate and partner really is emotes, and I mean, partner plus is something else you got to earn again.
Yeah.
Like there's not really that big a difference between the two now.
No, they're pretty much I don't know anything about affiliate, because obviously it wasn't around and I never got to experience it. But I think that you get more ad revenue with being a partner as well. I'm not too sure.
You gotta obviously fiddle with your ads, but yes.
Yeah.
But it was same thing with affiliate though. Like I think it's like a 30% cut if you run it like quite light, and if you run a little bit heavier, it's like 55%.
No, that's the same with partner then. So
yeah,
there is really no differences apart from emotes.
Yeah, and this is the thing I keep trying to tell people, because people go, you know, partner push, I'm going to stream 12 hours a day every day I'm like, well, hang on. You're not going to get, like, there's no big payday. There's no golden handshake at the end of that push.
You get a funny check. That's about all you get.
Yeah, and so it's kind of weird to me, but it's like it was such a, like, I remember looking at like partner and going, well, I'm never getting that, back when it was like 500. It's just accepted that's not the case. It's not going to happen. And now it's 75, but it's like I feel like 75 is good, and I like the fact that they don't just kind of, you know, just give it to whoever hits 75 as soon as they hit 75. Like they actually go say, hey, look, we can see that you were 30 up until this 1 month where, you know, you've hit 75. You know, you need to be more consistent going.
Keep it going and you'll get it, basically.
Yeah, because and I think that we see it a lot where people are like, hey, I've hit partner, blah, blah, blah. And then they see that the next thing is you need to, you know, keep working to make money if you want to, you know, make the most of it. And a lot of them just go, I don't want to, I'm sick of this.
Can't be bothered.
Can't be bothered. Work? No one told me about that. I didn't want to do that. So you've been in the game for a while, obviously. Probably like just going back to the obviously hitting 500, you know, viewers plus and speedrunning and everything else. Is that kind of just become your job, like full-time job? Yeah. And has it been always?
I went to TAFE and uni a couple of times. Before I got partnered, I was working at McDonald's. I also
That's where all the good gamers come from.
I also worked at a farm. Used to drive tractors.
Same.
So it became my job. So I got partnered, but I made like $0 for a very long time, because back then Twitch support from chat and stuff, there was no ad revenue, there was no bits. Donations were very rare.
Yep.
So back then you could get partner, but you'd still not have that full-time income.
They didn't even have like animated emotes or anything like that. It was just
no gifted subs either.
No gifted subs as well. So all that revenue stuff was...
It was all subscribe and nothing else. That was the only way to support a streamer. So even if you had the 500 viewers and you got the sub button, you still would have to have well over 1,000, like 1,500 or so, to actually be able to maintain a full-time income. So it was a lot harsher back then. Yeah.
Wild. And then so like, obviously Twitch, to Twitch's credit, they have made like multiple revenues into the process now.
Oh, they've done a great job with that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, again, people complain about it all the time. It's
like bits were a game changer. The ads incentive program, everyone hates ads, but that is really good.
It does make money. Yeah, even I make money off ads, and I don't know how. It just happens.
I'm a huge fan of the ads incentive program, even if ads suck.
They do.
They do suck. And then gifted subs and and it's just been so much better to actually make like proper revenue.
Yeah, nice. So it's I'm just going back. I'm just trying to think of like the amount of stuff that's happened in effectively 9 years. So
I've been streaming for it'll be 11 years in September. So
that's wild.
Started when I was 17.
So okay, so let's go back. All right, let's go back. Like, do you just jump straight into streaming, or did you do YouTube first, or like was there any kind of plan, or was just sort of...
All right. I had no video games growing up. I was not a video game kid. My mother didn't like video games very much. The only
How does your mother feel about it now?
She comes into my chat sometimes, says hello to everyone. She loves it now. She's actually kind of a gamer herself.
Hey.
So that's really cool to see. But she didn't like them when I was a kid. I would go to my friend's house and he had an Xbox and I'll play Call of Duty. My cousin had a Nintendo 64, which I think it had Donkey Kong 64 on it.
Yeah.
And the only games we had were, I think it was Mario Party and might have been Crash Bandicoot. Those were the only two games that we had in our house for a very long time.
Wow. Okay.
So somehow, after many years of not playing games, I got into games, and then I would look up YouTube videos with I would just browse YouTube, and I managed to come across a games done quick speedrun of Ocarina of Time, which is a game I played at my friend's house as well. So I was familiar with that, and I thought that was really, really cool. So I bought myself an Alienware laptop for a very large sum of money, which I regret spending.
You paid the Alienware tax. That's fine.
Yeah, I paid the Alienware tax and started streaming Kingdom Hearts speedruns because at that point I had a part-time job and I was making money and I was able to buy myself a couple of games.
Yep.
To my poor mother's dismay. she was not very happy with that. And then I started speedrunning Kingdom Hearts and just kept on growing and growing from and doing more things from there. And so it's really weird that I managed to fall into speedrunning from not playing games, but just by browsing the internet as a whole.
Yeah, well, I think speedrunning's still like a kind of a niche, like a lot of normal people on the street. If you just came up and said, hey, do you know about speedrunning? They'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Is that like speed walking? Same thing? Or
Absolutely.
Exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's like, and I know that like, I suppose like Games Done Quick is kind of the known sort of entity that kind of jumps in, and like I watch so much like crazy stuff. For the longest time, like Games Done Quick was like the noise I put on to go to sleep, because like, and it was like it'd find us a nice long run, and then you'd sit there and just fall asleep to the sound of another donation. But yeah, I love it. It's like, yeah, and I've got a few friends who speedrun a couple other games and stuff like that, and I've just ran into people over the years, and some of the stuff, like, it's a spectacle in a lot of ways. And I think that's where it's kind of underrated. And it's good to see that, like, obviously we just had Game Expo, which you guys get a pretty good shout out there. And, DreamHack's got speedrunning happening, and obviously PAX do speedrunning. And, like, it's good to see, like, the events, particularly in Australia, are starting to sort of ramp up and do that, because I don't know how, like, you see, obviously, what it's like in the US and Europe, and it's huge. to put it lightly.
The team behind all speedruns have put so much work into making the events happen. Like, they're a good team.
Yeah.
But it is, you are right. Speedrunning has, like, very modern, like, more modern speedrunning is more about the entertainment and the spectacle of it. Like, back in my day, you could get good at a game and you'd have thousands of people tuning in. You didn't have to talk, you could just play the game. But nowadays you can get really good at a decently popular game, and, like, I think, like, I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head at the moment, but you can get, like, really good at a game, but if you don't talk to chat, you don't provide the entertainment, then you just you're stable.
Yeah, I think a good example of that would be, like, Super Mario 64 comes to mind for me, because there's so many people that are playing in that space, and, like, just a lot of casual people that are speedrunning it and whatever, and they might be very good at it, but unless they're talking to chat or adding something else to it, they're still competing against half a dozen to a dozen other ones doing the same thing at the same time. And it's always the rule, and, like, the rule that I always sort of say is you got to be either really good at the game or really fucking funny, otherwise you're not going to make it. That's pretty much it. It's one or the other. Like, you could try to be both.
Sometimes I try to be both.
We know.
One of the greatest early examples I can think of is, I guess, an entertaining speedrunner would be Clint Stevens. He used to run Ocarina of Time and Mario 64, and he was really the first person who actually was, like, entertaining people while speedrunning, and it really did take off from that. Like, he went so quickly from, like, 30, 40 viewers to a few thousand viewers. It was such a quick transition for him. So it was very wild to see a lot of speedrun streams takes a lot of the same pathway into being more entertaining and less speedrun focused. And I think there's a good balance there. Like, I suppose it's maybe a different story if you're on that world record pace and you're trying to focus and you want to really nail that time. That's fair. But if you can do it while entertaining, that's just, like, massive. And I suppose that's where you get all your views and stuff like that, and people can clip shit and it go viral or whatever needs to happen. It's like it's the Wild West out there. I understand, but it's cool. I think there's still room for that to grow. I think that, like, absolutely.
I think there's a lot of people there that haven't sat down and watched speedrunning or done that sort of stuff, and if they just only saw what was going on, they'd probably go, "Oh shit, this is pretty cool."
And what's a real shame about speedrunning as well is that, like, the most popular clips either come from Games Done Quick, or they're, like, people who get really mad at speedrunning. There's so many viral clips of people, like, yelling and smashing their keyboard or throwing the controller,
failing,
and it gives a bit of a unfortunate picture to speedrunners as a whole, which a lot of speedrunners, there's a good chunk of people who do act in that way, but there's a good chunk of people who just like to sit down, play the game, and just relax. And it's like, it is kind of sad to see that those are the most popular clips, but it is, again, it's just what it is. It's that
viral sort of thing, because people watching people lose their shit, like, it's relatable to everyone, basically. So they all go, they wouldn't even know that maybe it's a speedrunner or whatever. So look at this guy lose his shit. It's great. It's, and they, it's like, Jazz, like, Onion is who was on one of the previous podcasts, is, like, not favorite, but, like, his best clip that everyone watches, and that is, like, he's playing, like, permadeath Minecraft, hardcore Minecraft. And as he's just messing around, he dies. So then he just loses his shit and throws his headphones on the ground and they break. And it's just, it's just the pain of watching. I can't remember how long he'd been playing at that point, but like many days, months, whatever it is. And like he was saying that people go for years playing hardcore Minecraft. And then when they die, it's like,
it's just lose everything.
Yeah. Years of your life gone kind of thing. And then clip, and that's like their most viral moment, and away they go. And it's like, it's interesting. I suppose there's a time and a place for everything. And but I remember like my like earliest memory of like speedrunning and stuff is I was at PAX. I can't remember which year it was, but there was someone was speedrunning Super Monkey Ball, and I was watching him do that. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. Lovely dude.
But I just like stopped and I was like mesmerized. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I struggle to play that game normally.
The Monkey Ball speedrun is insane. Like watching that run is like
insane.
As you said, mesmerizing.
Yeah, I literally just remember just standing there for like, it doesn't even go for that long. I think it was only like 15 minutes or something. But it's like, I'm just like, what the fuck? I just remember like sitting there trying to play Super Monkey Ball or whatever for fucking so long, just trying to get it in the hole. And then I just watch this guy just like flick of the wrist, done. Next one, done. It's like, what is happening? This was happening. But yeah, it's so like, and I feel like there's like so many other people that all they have to do is just get introduced to it and then they'll be hooked, so to speak.
Yeah. And there's a fair chunk of people who are just not built for speedrunning. It is a mentally stressful thing to do, and being on pace, having to maintain nerves and stuff like that. It is not for everyone, but a lot of people also it is for, and it's fun.
So this brings me up. I got this is a two-parter question. So the first one is, what's involved in like learning a run and stuff like that? And I know that you obviously practice runs and stuff off stream and get ready for, I guess, showtime, for lack of a better term. Like how much work is involved in like trying to nail down a run? Like what's the process?
All right. So my general practice routine. So with learning a run, a lot of it is you go into the community Discord, ask whatever questions you need. Sometimes there'll be a guide. Sometimes there'll be video guides, and those are really good when they exist. So learning a game nowadays is really easy. There's so many resources, and anyone can learn pretty much any speedrun that has a semi-active community. As for practice, it kind of depends. For me personally, I practice more when I'm motivated, when I'm really close to a big goal time, and I'm like, I really want to get this time. I will practice so much. Yeah. My poor girlfriend, she might not see me for a full day, and I come out and be like, oops, sorry, hello.
It's hyper fixated here. Sorry about that.
But if I'm not motivated at all, I probably just won't practice at all. And it shows. Like when I don't practice, obviously I play worse. And when I do practice, I play a lot better. Yeah. So it's all, for me, it all depends. There'll be runners that practice, 6 hours a day and then do runs for 6 hours. So it's kind of different for everyone, I think. Yeah. But that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah. So then the second part to the question is you've practiced it, you've nailed the route and everything else, and then you're going to jump onto, obviously, live stream it and put it on Twitch. How do you handle like talking to chat and like navigating what's going on, outside of the game while you're trying to obviously nail the time? A perfect example is when your chat's saying that you're a supermarket and like constantly and trying to buy things with channel points from you as a supermarket. Like, how do you navigate that?
The crazy thing about that is it's not even the stream as a whole. It's a supermarket. I'm a supermarket.
You're a supermarket. I was in tears that day. I was in tears. It's so funny. I remember entering chat and then it was like some innocent question was like, can we buy groceries with channel points or something? And then it just turned into you're a supermarket. And then all I could keep hearing, because I was like working on stuff at the same time. Okay, chat, I'm not a supermarket. Chat, I'm not a supermarket. But meanwhile,
put groceries in the channel points list.
Which is perfect, yeah. But like,
well,
if you weren't listening to what you're saying and stuff, and you just saw the footage, you're like, wow, look at this guy. He's smashing the speedrun right now. It's like, how do you do that?
That is a question I get asked a surprising number of times. A lot of people tend to be, I guess, for a lack of a better word, rather impressed about how much I can interact with chat while also speedrunning at a decently high level. And I think the general answer is that I've just done it for a really long time. So obviously I wasn't very good at reading chat and speedrunning in 2013, 2014, 2015. It was probably only really in 2019, I would say, where I actually started to be like, I don't really need to look at the game too much nowadays. I can just look at the chat and start talking with them. So it's just a long time doing what I've been doing.
Yeah. Because I think there's a few like I call them degenerate chats, and yours definitely falls in that category. And it's always something different going on.
That's what I want.
Yeah, but because it's also like I don't know. What your numbers are now, but you always have a decent chatting going on regardless. And you've been doing multi-stream stuff, which only adds YouTube to the mix of the Twitch chat. So you're doing two chats at once. And sometimes, there'll be a joke that's happening in Twitch chat that YouTube chat doesn't understand. And, you still navigate it all fine without I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been watching and you've gone, oh, fuck that up. I was reading chat. Like, it's never happened. It's just like...
It does happen sometimes, but I tend to not acknowledge the fact that
that was chat's fault.
I'm driving and I look at chat and then I see a car slam into it. It's like... I tend to try to avoid blaming the chat, even though it is a lot of their fault.
Yeah, right. So you just fake it.
Internally blaming the chat.
Internally, it's like, yeah, good joke, chat. Fucking assholes.
Distracting me.
Distracting. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I find it's so like it's such a different vibe, and I guess for a lot of people, like a lot of people that are even doing really well, just in general, and like streaming and stuff like that, it's a different level to where you're at with like your community and stuff like that. Yes, it's taken years to get to it, but it is a different level. Like if they still had the old partner requirements, you'd still hit them.
Yeah,
which is wild. It's wild. Again, like I know partnered streamers that average 50 viewers.
Oh yeah, I have seen quite a lot of people in my time who have, I guess, failed to adapt to, like, because I'm friends with a lot of speedrunners. A lot of them have failed to adapt to what is modern speedrunning, which is you can't just be good at the game. That is just not how it works anymore. So there's people that I follow with 30,000, 40,000 followers, but they'll get like 50, 60 viewers.
Yeah, that's scary.
Because they aren't really, they don't really care that much about the actual growth. They just want to play the game. And that's fine. That is obviously very fine, but you just can't grow with that mindset anymore.
Yeah. So I think probably going into the next sort of stuff is like obviously we kind of covered off like modern speed running and how it's changed and all that sort of stuff. But like for people, if someone's like listens to this and they go, man, I really want to get into speed running, like, should they just like, is there a particular game they should play? Is there like, how does it work? Like, I know like for you, for example, and my introduction to you was like, this is the Simpsons Hit and Run guy. This is where you come for your Simpsons content. And it's true. And there was like, even though I streamed it and I did okay numbers for what I usually get playing it, and I failed it a lot, which I think a lot of people enjoyed watching. And then there was that one guy who left a comment on my YouTube short telling me to leave it to LiquidWiFi to do it from now on. And I'm like, fucker. But like, is it worth like getting into a niche like that, or like what's the best way to like get into speedrunning and be, I guess, successful at it?
Well,
for a new person.
For if you're completely new to speedrunning as a whole, I think the best thing is not to go into it like it's the same with streaming. It's not to go into it with the expectation to become super popular, because speedrunning has an issue where it's really, as you said, it's really niche, and a lot of communities are confined to their own little space. So you have like the hit and run community here, you have the Mario community, which is very big, and you can get pretty big if you get good at that game. You'll have something like I'm trying to think of another example, maybe Zelda's over here. A lot of the communities are segregated. They are generally by themselves. So becoming popular with speedrunning is not an easy task nowadays.
So you kind of have to pick which lane you want to be in. Like, I'm going to be a Mario speedrunner, for example. Like,
yeah, you can, like, Mario, for using Mario as an example, Mario's massive. It's so popular. But on the other hand, you are also competing with the likes of Liam, Cheese, Punkation, really popular Mario speedrunners. So you have to get both really good at the game and very entertaining, because a lot of those speedrunners are entertaining.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on what your goal is with speedrunning as a whole. If you want to just have fun, speedrun the game that you're going to play, you like the most. Like, you're going to be playing it a lot. You are going to be playing it so much. If your goal is to grow, find a game that that is popular but has not got that much interest, or sorry, has not got that much demand for the content. So something like, I'm doing GTA at the moment, that seems to be like a bit void of content. There's definitely content creators in that space, like Joshima's. But in terms of like overall, it's really quite it's pretty quiet right now.
Yeah, I mean, compared to like doing San Andreas versus like doing GTA 5, for example. Like, there's a lot of
GTA 5 has so many creators. There's not many speedrunners. Dark Viper AU is quite a popular like GTA 5 content creator. He doesn't do much speedrunning nowadays though.
No.
So GTA 5 is probably quite void of speedrun related content.
Yep.
So that's just kind of, you just got to if you want to grow, you really do have to find that right place, right time moment. You know.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's interesting. And I think the real key point here is play something you like, because you're going to be playing it a lot. Because it's you don't want to be.
Another thing with speedrunning that I forgot to mention is it's so common that speedrunners get locked into one game, because obviously you get known for that game. Like for me, I was locked in Kingdom Hearts for a very, very long time, and I was locked in Sha for a very long time, and only recently have I started just doing whatever I want. But a lot of, especially if you're good at the game, but you're not very entertaining and talk to chat that much, if you try to stream anything else, it'll be quite difficult to pull.
They're there for the game. They're not there for you. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that's not just speedrunning. That's in general. That's a general rule.
It does happen as general. As a general rule.
It's a general rule of just being a content creator in general, and that's where I suppose again it comes to that, like, are you entertaining? Can you do more? You know, can you put a positive spin on it? You know, I've had like people like Pog, who's a fantastic individual on the podcast, but he's like known to be like this spiritual leader of the Overwatch community in Australia. And I'm like, it's like, and then Overwatch themselves, you know, shoot themselves in the foot probably once or twice a year, and it really makes it difficult. So it's like, you know, you gotta while you're working away in your little niche and everything like that, you have to sort of have not necessarily an exit plan, but like a plan B. Like, oh, I can play this game, or I can do this other thing as well.
The best thing you can do for your own content, for anyone, is don't have people like the content, have the people like you.
Correct.
That's the best path to being able to do whatever you want.
Yeah. And like to get to more of like a business thing, from particularly these days, like numbers and stuff like that aren't as important as the person behind it. And like, I don't know, and like you're terribly guilty of this as well. But like relying on a platform to be like the platform, then this is what I do kind of thing, is like, it's dangerous, first of all, because you could be mixed at any time. And like the people now, they're like, hey, you know, and I recently had this. I was in a meeting with something for like an influencer thing, and they call it basically like a numbers check, where they say, hey, all right, so what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm here on Twitch. and TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and like that. And then when all the numbers all come together, they're like, oh fuck, you got plenty of people. Yeah, cool. You're good to go. But if I just came in there and said, yeah, I've got like 4K followers on Twitch or whatever, they're like, is that it? That's nothing. No, it's but you might be the most entertaining person in the world, but if you haven't got anything else going on, like for them to see that, and that's where a lot of people shit on like TikTok. TikTok's big, but it's volatile. But like Instagram is a very important one and a lot of opportunities because it's kind of like a window into the day-to-day stuff. And that's where people want to know what headset you're using, what microphone you're using, what you freaking ate for lunch, that sort of stuff is like where Instagram is. So that's where all the influencers and stuff are. And that's where a lot of opportunities come from. So you could be the best Valorant player in the world who's buried under the 3,000 Valorant streams. But if you have a really good profile outside of that, you'll still get brand deals and you'll still get money essentially, just from you as a person being, whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's really important to not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, and it's also important not to tweet things like I'm going to shit myself.
We had this conversation already.
Yeah, we did. But it's so interesting that the amount of people that will like great example is like DreamHack, right? DreamHack, they're taking 500 creators in there, but they're like, where it's not about how big you are or whatever. It's just, are you making content and are you a good fit for what we're doing, basically. And there's people in there that got like 100 Twitter followers and like not even like they link their Twitch, but they have like 5 followers on Twitch sort of thing. And then you go to their TikTok and it's like 30,000 followers on TikTok, and they're averaging, 50,000 views a video or whatever. And it's like, whoa, okay. But like, that's because they diversified. Now they're the brand. This person who is a creator is like, yeah, I'm a creator. I don't stream though, or I don't make YouTube and I don't do Twitter. They're just on TikTok. Yeah. And so it's about, I guess the from a brand's perspective and like I guess a growth perspective, the person and like what they are and like their personality and what they do and all that sort of stuff is kind of more important than the gameplay. You can be big playing. My favorite's GTR RP, right? GTA RP. Massive in GTA RP. No worries. But if you play anything else, no one cares because they're there for the game. Like I've been in there. I shoehorned myself into that pile for a couple of years.
I think the 3 big ones are Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. I think those are the 3 big ones. I don't think TikTok has too much relevancy outside of TikTok because getting people from TikTok to other platforms is so difficult. It is impossible. Like you can be popular on TikTok.
Again, talking about Pog, like 1 million views on one of his TikToks and maybe two followers maybe on Twitch from that.
Yeah.
Like that conversion rate's ridiculous. It's
like if I got 1 million views on a YouTube video, I probably get like, I don't know, 500 followers on Twitch. Like it's so the conversion rate between YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram is so much better than TikTok to anything, basically. Yeah.
But the thing is, TikTok is very easy to, like, it's very reactive. So if you go, like, perfect example right now is a stupid fucking 3D Fruit game, which is the 3D version of the 2D Fruit game that everyone was playing, right? That shit, you see one person do it, then the next day, 50 fucking people were doing it. It's like, what is going on? And they all have 2,000 people watching them. And I'm like, what is it? And then the next day, there's thousands of them. And they're all doing it, but they're also getting like 100 to 200 new followers per stream. Like their numbers are just going up, up, up. And like on paper, it looks really good. And then, they get little badges and awards and stuff like that. And then they can go to brands because brands also don't understand TikTok. They just want to, they go see numbers go up, want my brand go up too. They just throw things into TikTok. Like I've asked for like game keys and they've gone, nah, not for you. I'm like, oh, I'm going to stream it on TikTok. Like TikTok, you say? I could, we could use some more TikTok streamers. It's like, and that's it. And like it would have done better on Twitch, but they want it on TikTok because they've got plenty of Twitch streamers. They need TikTok.
Is so it's so powerful for short-term growth.
Yeah.
Like in terms of long-term growth, it's terrible. But short-term growth, TikTok is like actually
most things you put on TikTok, 48 hours max. Like that's as long as it gets. Very rarely does it get like anything more viral than that. And then you go to something like YouTube, it's like you can put shit up on YouTube and it could be a year before it pops off, and you just go, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think actually at the moment, if I bring up my studio, there's actually a video. It's not popping off, but it's like been like a year and a half. It's recently got a lot of views on it.
My video, which is just, it's insane. It's the most low effort, boring clip that I ever uploaded to YouTube Shorts. Sat at like 20 views for like 8 months. It's sitting at 9 million views now.
Jesus.
It's at 8 months at nothing and just went, whoa, through the roof. And I just like, and when it was like hitting like 20,000, 40,000, I'm like, this is weird. What is going on here? Not only that, like 20,000 subs out of it. It's just insane.
That's
and
ridiculous.
It's so boring, so low effort. The worst clip I've ever put on the internet, really. And people, I don't know, but it's like, I think it's because people watch it and then go, well, that was shit. And then like comment, that was shit. That the algorithm's like, wow, these people really love this video. They watched it all the way through and they comment on it. It's really going well.
I once got told that disliking a video actually helps it in the algorithm because people are still interacting with it.
Yeah, it does.
Don't like the video, it still puts it up higher.
Because people watch videos and they don't like it and they don't comment on it, but then if they don't like it, they'll dislike it, which is an interaction, which is more than if they watch the whole damn video.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're watching this podcast, by the way, please like it and leave a comment because that's how the fucking internet works. It's wild, but yeah, like but this has been going for a year now. It's going to hit 10 million views. It's still going. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I hit 20,000 subs, I'll celebrate because the game was the new Tales of the Borderlands, right? Which isn't a good game for many reasons. I like Borderlands a lot. I don't like that game much. So I'm like, to celebrate, because obviously there's 20,000 people that want to watch this, I will do a full stream, start to finish, new Tales of the Borderlands on YouTube for my YouTube code. Do you know how many people showed up? Fucking nobody. Nobody came. So like, it's just a number. Like it's like, yeah, I can now request more keys because I have this amazing view ratio on my fucking YouTube channel now. But like, apart from that, like it's not relevant to anything. It's just a nice number. I think it's going to make, I think my channel is on like borderline about to hit 10 million views because of it. Because of one short for 1 minute. It's so crazy. Like I was getting excited when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Now I get a couple hundred subscribers a day still. It's sort of weird. But
that's insane.
Yeah, I should have monetized it.
Dude, so most of my videos are long form. Like my most popular videos are all top 10 are over an hour long. There's some that are 3 hours long. And I just add.
Just all through it? You're a bastard. But also, like, it's fine. I think the only downside of that, well, I don't know. I don't quite understand how it works exactly. But recently, because I listen to a lot of long form stuff, particularly when I'm working and whatever. And sometimes now YouTube will throw in an ad, but the ad goes for 30 minutes. And I'm just like, what is fucking...
Oh, really?
What is going on? It's like,
I've never had that. I mean, I've never had that happen because...
I've had it twice in the last week. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because it's like an interview about some bloody, I don't know, just some weird interview on some like talk show thing. And I'm like, I didn't listen to this. I'm like, no, I'm still watching the right video. What the fuck's going on? It's an ad. And it goes for 30 minutes and it's fucking annoying.
I've never had that. I always get like 5 second ads that you can
That's
skip.
Fine. Yeah.
Those are fine.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, it's wild. Look, I haven't cracked the YouTube thing. I think YouTube's on my list for this year. I want to crack YouTube.
But YouTube's been on my list for a very long time.
So like before the short that went crazy, this all sounds really bad. But like, so I've played the YouTube game for a very, very long time. And never had any major success. I think the one thing I did is when the Switch came out, because we're in Australia and we're in the future, I got the Switch immediately and streamed immediately with Zelda Breath of the Wild immediately. And I didn't stop. I just kept going until I finished the game. And like from that, I got a fair bit of traction because like there was all these Americans and stuff like that. It's like, I can't wait to play this game. I still have to wait, 6 hours or whatever. I'm like, yep, it must suck. Anyway, watch me play. It'll be good. And from that, I'm like, oh, well, because I've played it so early, I'll cut up like all the major like cutscenes and stuff like that, slap them in a video, slap it on the internet, whatever. It's like a 3 hour long, just again, low effort, lazy, whatever. It's like 500,000 views on that video.
Jeez.
And I'm like, that's so bullshit. Because there's like videos where I've spent months and, scripted it and edited it and like, fucking everything. And it's like 30 views. I'm like, I don't get it. So I ran a podcast and everything else on YouTube for ages, and like some would get like 1,000 views, some would get 10. And it's like, just don't get it. YouTube's crazy, but I want to figure out YouTube because I feel like if you look at the grandscape of like all the content sort of channels, I guess, so your Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, I think YouTube's the one that's not going anywhere no matter what. Like there's
YouTube's
nothing.
the most stable. It is the most stable one.
Yeah, there's nothing to kill YouTube. Like Twitter could disappear tomorrow. Like Elon Musk could just get drunk and go, "Oops, deleted it." It's like it could happen. It's like
hit the red button.
Like it could though. That's the thing. It's like there's nothing stopping it.
And then Twitch
is not profitable.
We don't make money.
We don't make money. Anyway, continue to make money on our platform that doesn't make money and is definitely stable. So. Yeah, but it's so I think YouTube's a really safe bet, and I see a lot of other people that kind of try to run play in as well, and there's some really great.
For me, I hate editing, so everything on my YouTube is live done. I've done like a few not post commentary, but I've like done a few like. What's the word I'm looking for? Like I talk over the video. Yeah, it's post commentary. What am I talking about?
Commentary, yeah.
For like streams that I've done that have like been challenge runs or whatever, and like they did decently well, but everything that has done actually quite well has all been live stuff. Yep. I hate editing so much.
Yeah. I've made the effort because I want to crack YouTube so badly to like learn editing again. Like I've done editing. I used to work for Channel 7 for a very brief time and like doing editing and stuff like that. And everything I'd learned then was so ancient, it's irrelevant because these days it's like technology is moving so quickly. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like making the effort of like learning how to cut and like balance and color match and like color correction and all that shit and like all that stuff. But the problem is that I do all that. You make a great video, it does fucking shit. Take a boring clip that no one understands, put it on the internet. Makes fucking tons of use.
It's so weird. Modern day content creation makes no sense. Yeah.
And like TikTok's just that, but faster. That's all. It's like it just goes, up, and it's gone. The next day, it's like, okay, well, that was fun.
It's just a roller coaster.
Yeah, and like I've had some success on TikTok, but like there's no conversion to it. It's just like I have a TikTok audience now, and like I have a guy I don't even know who these people are because they're even more anonymous than they are on Twitch. Like there was a person who came in. I was playing Fortnite, and a person came in and he's like, "Can I play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can play Fortnite." He's like, "No, can I play with you?" I'm like, "Oh no, you can't play with me. That's fine." And then he disappeared, came back. And then he was called ZombiesLvBacon now, and he had taken a screenshot from my stream and changed his picture to me. And then he's like, "Can I play now? Because I'm you." And then the next person who came in is like, "Can I play with you?" I'm like, "You can play with that ZombiesLvBacon in the chat." It's a different audience. It's so weird. There's a guy there. He's like called Ace, and he just calls me dad all the time.
It's the same on YouTube. The people on like the audience just like personality differences between Twitch and YouTube are wild. Massive. It is really strange.
Yeah. I sometimes stream on YouTube when I'm like just doing absolutely unhinged whatever. Like I'm playing some bizarro game and I'm like, I don't want people to know that I was playing this. So I just tell my friends that I'm on YouTube today and we're going to play here. And like every now and then you get just people come in and they just say the most unhinged and random shit. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? So it's wild, but it's kind of necessary to jump outside of the Twitch platform every now and then.
Yes, you grow on Twitch by not being on Twitch.
That's what they keep saying. Yeah. Yep. So it's interesting. Anyway, I'm mindful of time, but I do have one more thing that we do need to talk about, and that is from where you are now. Like, where do you want to get to next? What's like the goals? Where, like what's next? I guess is the real question.
I would love to figure out YouTube. YouTube has plagued me for a very long time. I have like a regular highlight video series that I have an editor who does a really, really good job of them. But they're more for my community than for growth overall.
Yeah.
So I want to figure out this damn platform.
Yeah. Get that discoverability.
Yes, it's very it haunts me.
Yeah.
But other than that, with like Twitch and stuff, like at the moment, I'm kind of just chilling. I don't really have like I'm playing, as I said, playing GTA series more and more, and it's just been really good to get out of the Shah circle that I was in for a while, because recently speedrun has become less enjoyable. So more or less, it's just like finding new games to run. I'm competing with a friend as well, who's also running San Andreas. So the friendly competition is very fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's mostly just figuring out YouTube at this point.
Would you consider jumping on? And this is a bit of a loaded question, but like, would you consider jumping on GTA 6 from day one? Like jump in, early adopter, yeah, and like,
oh, of course,
interesting,
of course.
You go.
All right. So the funny thing is that I have never played a new release game on my stream, not a single time, because I played Kingdom Hearts for a very long time, and that didn't release anything. After I moved away from Kingdom Hearts, new games finally released. So of course, and then obviously I played Simpsons Hit Run for many years, and we talked about that before. That's not going to release anything.
Nothing new coming there. Yeah. As soon as you say, I'm done with it, I'm never playing it again, they'll be like, the next day.
But it's really exciting because I've never played a new game on stream, and I really want to like play GTA 6 with my community watching me. It would be really cool.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? So GTA 6, and like I've talked to a few curators about this, even on the podcast. And it's like it is like a once in a lifetime event. Like it's gonna be massive. Yeah,
it is like huge.
Yeah, and like it's such a weird space for everyone in the space, because it's a black hole where everyone's either going to be streaming it or playing it, pretty much. And I think the only exception to the rule is that it doesn't have a PC release on day dot.
I don't think it will. I don't think
it will. No, because they'll make you buy it twice because it's Rockstar. Because they will. But it's like, what do you do in that space? Like, are you going to play it, or are you going to be the person who's playing Valorant still and hoping that no one's watching the GTA 6 1 million streams that are going to be? It's going to break the record for most streams in a category. I guarantee it.
Definitely will. Absolutely.
It's crazy. And like it's like GTA 5 only got more popular when it came out, and that was a beast when it came out. Like GTA 6 is just going to be insane. But
it's going to be big.
It would be
very, very big time.
It would be a very cool thing to put on your mantle and sort of say, hey, I was the quickest, the first and fastest GTA 6.
Speedrun GTA 6 on
day one. That would be wild.
Unfortunately, a lot of new releases nowadays for leaderboards, they'll lock it up for 30 days, so no one can submit to a leaderboard.
That is absolutely fair.
A bit of development, and it is very fair.
Yeah, that is absolutely fair. And no one knows what GTA 6 looks like. It's gonna. Who knows? Who fucking knows what that game's gonna be?
I reckon. So the Red Dead 2 speedrun is like 12 hours long.
Holy.
I reckon it's gonna be longer than Red Dead 2.
Jesus, Red Dead 2 is
massive.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Red Dead 2 was like the game where I was streaming it, and then I gave up streaming it because I just didn't know when it was going to end. So then I just went and played it by myself. Like I remember, it was like I think like Christmas holidays. I took like 2 weeks off and went to my family who's got like a really nice TV, and just set up the PlayStation. Just sat there instead of spending time with the family. I just played Red Dead straight for 2 weeks, and then I'm like, got to the end, and fucking beautiful game, so good.
Oh, great game.
But like, absolute beast. And I don't know if there's going to be like a definitive ending to GTA 6 as well. Like, it could be anything, but also like it's just. Like I said, it's a loaded question because you just go spin off into like the amount of people are like, it's going to cost you $200. It's going to have a subscription based fee to it. They're going to take your kidney to play it because everyone's going to give their kidney to play it. You know, it's going to be 7 characters, or it's going to be live servers. It could be anything. You have no idea. No one knows anything about that game, and anyone that does who says anything gets shot. So it's like, it's not. Yeah, it's going to be an absolute beast. Yeah. So the last thing that I like to ask, and sort of, and I think this is kind of important, I suppose, for you yourself, is there any particular brands or like companies and stuff that you want to work with that you haven't had an opportunity to yet, or?
Yeah. Well, I've never had a sponsorship before.
That is wild to me.
Yeah, not a single time. I've often been emailed by some, but they're almost always Stream Elements sponsorships.
They're not.
Which don't exist, which aren't real.
No.
Logitech is a big one. I absolutely love Logitech stuff. Corsair would be another one, and Lianli would be my top 3 picks.
Right. Okay. He's definitely thought about it then.
I have thought about it a lot.
Yeah, it's wild to me that you haven't had a sponsor. Like, I would have thought surely someone would just come and be like, hey.
Steel Series. I like Steel Series too. I think they make excellent stuff. So, okay. Top 4.
Top 4. Just peripherals, really. I just need peripherals like constantly.
I don't even need peripherals. I just like what they make. I think they make stuff.
That you know what though, from like, and a lot of people that listen to the podcast, they want to get to that sponsorship stuff like that. Dealing with companies you're already buying shit from is the easiest. Like changing stuff because someone's offered you a bag of money, that is not as easy. If let's say, like, I don't want to pick on anyone in particular. Let's say Mad Cats comes to you and says, we're going to give you a keyboard. It's like, and it's a $30 keyboard.
First I would say no.
It's and like I was very lucky because I'm with Elgato, with their ambassador program, because my whole pitch was, hey, you don't actually need to send me anything. I have all your shit. Like, I use all your shit already, because I've just in that ecosystem and have been for 10 years, and I just can't get out of it really at this point. I'm just indoctrinated. I think the only thing I don't have is I haven't got a webcam yet. I'm using a Logitech webcam. But we don't tell Elgato that. No, they don't care. They don't care. They're very cool and very chill about other brands. They're realistically, and like I've done. I've done headphones and stuff like that with a few people. I do a lot of stuff with Audio Technica. They're really cool, and that sort of stuff. But it's like, yeah, you just there's taking the bag of money and like selling out essentially, and then there's like, hey, I already like this brand. That's why I would like to work with this brand, and that's
that's the path I would prefer to take. Any chair brands who will maybe listen to the podcast, my chair is actually falling apart and I need a new one.
Yeah. What is it? What's like the chair that people like these days? It's like Secret Lab or something, right?
Oh yeah, Secret Lab.
Secret Lab, I think, is the one that everyone sort of recommends. I've got a DX Racer, but it's so old that I have to put a blanket over it.
Noble. I have a noble chair that's falling apart. Sorry.
Yep. Shit. It's Anyway, no, cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on and chatting. I feel like
no worries.
I feel like it's been a bit of a time warp, but it's actually really important for people to. It's not like, it's kind of like humbling to like tell people, hey, you might be complaining about stuff right now, but it used to be so much harder in every aspect: internet, hardware, software, Twitch, YouTube, fucking TikTok never existed.
Being an old boy and seeing the evolution is wild to see people complaining about it to me.
Yeah. So it's So a lot of people, just take a think. It could be a lot worse. It's not. The only thing that like the old timers had over everyone else is that there was less people doing it because it was so hard. But that's it. That's the only thing. But yes, we are at the end of the show. This is at the point where we do. If you want to plug yourself or pitch, where do people find your content? Is the best place to find you?
Twitch.
Just Twitch, LiquidWiFi.
Yep.
Pretty much just type Simpsons Hit and Run into Google and
or YouTube. YouTube will also work.
Yeah, well, that's true as well. Go to the YouTube, subscribe there, and do all that sort of stuff. And while you're there, and you're already there if you're watching this, unless you're on Spotify. You're not on Spotify, I take it. I bet you didn't even know Spotify does videos now.
They do videos? Okay,
you could be streaming on Spotify soon. The way they're going, it's a whole nother world out there. It's nuts. But yes, you will find this podcast both on YouTube and Spotify. And if you could leave a like and leave a comment, even if you want to mention someone else that we could probably get on the show, throw some names out there. I'll reach out to them and we'll get them on the show. We're always looking for new and interesting people. People that are doing stuff or been in the game a long time or have something to offer, or just really fast at games, I guess. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, Liquid. It's been good, and thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll see you all very soon. Goodbye, everyone.